Hello and welcome to Dee Dee Blooms. In this video I'm going to be repotting my Psychopsis. It's the Mendenhall Hildos variety, and it's been blooming for me for quite a while now. There's the long flower spike with the beautiful little bud that is developing. There we go. In focus. I'm hoping this repot doesn't disturb its progress. And so on this table I've got everything set up to do the repot. I'm going to be putting it into self-watering, and yeah, so we'll just start getting to it. So just looking up the Psychopsis Mendenhall Hildos, online it says it's a hybrid orchid, and I'm just reading the AI overview when you look up Psychopsis Mendenhall on Google. Hybrid orchid known for its long-lasting sequential blooming on the same flower stalk, often for years, and its unique butterfly-shaped flowers. The hybrid, it's a cross between Psychopsis butterfly and Psychopsis papilio. Yeah, it's often known or described as the samurai orchid. It certainly, the flowers do look like a samurai. And of course the beautifully patterned dark green leaves with purple or maroon markings. Yeah, it prefers bright indirect light, and I grow mine in my back grow room in intermediate temperatures under bright Barrina lights. So I'm sure you can tell I'm trying to figure out how to get it out of the self-watering pot. And here's a new growth that started up for me not too long ago. And again, I'm hoping the repot does not disturb the new growth. Fingers crossed. I hear that Psychopsis can be a little finicky after they are repotted, and I've really been enjoying this orchid, so I hope I don't set it back too much. So I'm just wiggling it around. I'm gonna lose roots. This is not the type of pot that I can cut. It's very solid plastic, and I don't want to cut this one. Oh my goodness, no way. I just busted off, I think, a flower spike. No. Oh, that is devastating. I can't believe I just did that. One rule of thumb when you are repotting is don't wiggle things around. Look at that. Look at that beautiful. I think that is a brand new flower spike. I was going to have a second flower spike. No! Oh, I am so sad. I could almost cry. That's really a downer. Okay. I can't change what happened. So yeah, like I was saying, one of the rules is, which I just broke, which broke a potential flower spike. Maybe it was another growth, but I'm pretty sure that was a flower spike, or I feel confident. Is don't grab, like I did, and grab the pseudobulbs without being able to see what's in there. Yeah, so right now I'm trying to use the tag, kind of pushing it down along the sides to try to loosen the roots from the side of the pot. I don't know if anyone has ever done this, but it's something I've figured out for pots that I can't really squeeze very well. Using the tag just helps to separate roots from clinging to the side of pots. It's very simple. I don't know how successful it's going to be with this, but I'm trying. Just kind of wiggle it around and scrape it along the sides. And again, I'm gonna lose a number of roots in this. Oh, this is one of those repots that's very nerve-wracking for me. I've honestly been procrastinating because I'm afraid I'm going to set the orchid back. But I know if I wait too much longer, the orchid is going to start to suffer and would diminish anyway. So just going to keep moving forward and work this orchid out of the pot and grieve with me that I lost a beautiful new flower spike. If you're squeamish, look away, because I'm having to snap roots from the bottom that actually grew out of the slots there and then grew right back into another slot. So I'm having to be a little rough here. So now it's out of the pot. I'm gonna check out these roots and as gently as possible release the old media. It's pretty dense. It smells not the greatest, so it's good I'm doing this. I can tell some roots are doing okay. Some roots not the best. You know, again with Psychopsis, they seem to be traumatized by this process. I'm gonna do my best to get old media out, but be gentle and not disturb as best I can. But I gotta get this old smelly media out. So there's gonna be a little rough patches here. You know, trying to get rid of not good roots too. Wow, it's really messy in here. A lot of the old moss is really broken down. It's probably not been helping the roots. But again, the orchid's been blooming. It's been putting up new growths. And it was about to spike again. So hopefully it will rally from all of this disturbance. And yeah, just trying to wiggle this all out. I have that stake in there to support the flower spikes. I'm holding on to it with my thumb. I'm going to try to keep that stable because I really don't want to detach it. I want that support for that long flower spike throughout this process. Hopefully I can keep it pretty steady and not harm the current flower spike. Yeah, I think you can see from my fingers how just dirty it is. Like, it's really broken down media. So I really hope getting some fresh media into a bigger self-watering pot, which is there in the background on the view that you have that white one right there with the black inner pot. Oh yeah, look at that pile of really bad media, and it does not smell the greatest. Again, the more it comes out, the more I can smell it. And that's again confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. And hopefully, I think I'm gonna have to rinse these roots, but yeah, so bear with me as I finish this part of the process. And I did go and rinse the roots because they were just clinging with basically soil at that point. And just going to keep checking into the root system and see what I need to remove, or maybe what might be able to stay. You know, the root system, it really isn't too bad. It doesn't look the greatest, but it's not too bad. I'm just finding little bits and pieces that are rotted and no good. I don't know if you can see in the middle of the root ball there, there's actually a piece of the wick that the roots have really grown into and around, so I wasn't going to rip that out. I would have preferred to get the entire wick out to reuse with the old pot, but I'm just leaving that. It's a wick that's pretty translucent at this point, but and I don't always cut off all the roots. What I'm doing now is I'm feeling for anything squishy, and then I just lightly pull to see if it comes off easily. Sometimes I just leave the strings of the old dead roots. I do cut off most of it though, but you know, it's just kind of whatever works the best. I use a mixture of cutting and just pulling off anything that'll pull off easy. So I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. Okay, so we've got the root system taken care of. I'm going to start prepping the new self-watering pot. So it's going from a 4-inch into, sorry, I think it's a 6-inch or 6.5-inch self-watering. So it should give it plenty of room for the next 2 to 3 years, longer or maybe less time, to grow and keep maturing. And it's just got the basic cotton wick that I put. Most of my repots for almost all my orchids these days, I start with moss. And if I'm putting it into self-watering, I'm tucking it under the loop of the wick so that the loop of the wick isn't just smashed to the bottom of the self-watering pot. It's actually up into the mix as much as possible. You can see it peeking there. So then hopefully it wicks up into the core of the media better. And then of course I have my bark, and I'm using number 3 bark chips. I have number 2, which is a lot smaller. I use those for oncidiums, which Psychopsis is an oncidium type. But this, I'm going to primarily use moss and then the number 3 sized bark chips, I decided, just to make sure there's plenty of variation, because reading about the care of the Psychopsis, there is a desire to have some drying out, which won't happen with the self-watering. There's always going to be moisture available, but I want the aeration in the media, so it's with a little bit larger bark chips, so that there's maybe not so soppy moist. I hope that makes sense. And if you're listening, I hope you're not sensitive to the word moist. I've heard some people don't like that word. I'll try not to use it so much anymore. Being real careful around that new growth. Let's not snap anything else off. I'm going to be beating myself up for a long time. I really do think it was a flower spike. I hope maybe that pseudobulb will try again. And or if it is a new growth, maybe it will try in another area to regrow. That'd be great to have 2 growths or a second flower spike. My leaves are looking a bit dingy. As they get older, they tend to lose their beautiful markings. I showed the pictures earlier in the video. And sometimes it's also, I think, just dust hiding some of that. So I'm going to do some leaf cleaning when I'm done with this as well. But I have a feeling we have quite a bit of fading. Usually the undersides of the Psychopsis stays more beautifully marked than the top side. You definitely get stronger markings on the leaves when you grow them in brighter light versus any type of low light or even low to medium light situation. So just a recommendation I found growing this. And yeah, so I'm trying to keep the mix airy with the moss, and I'm plopping in some more of the bark. And I always end my repottings, no matter the type of orchid, with a top layer of bark. I don't want algae growth on the moss. One, I think it's unsightly. I don't like the look of moss, the top of the moss with a plant, and then it gets all green, and it just, I don't know, it kind of grosses me out, to be honest. But everybody's different. Some things give people heebie-jeebies. Green, slimy topped moss grosses me out. But yeah, so I'm getting the top layer going, and I will continue doing that. I'll be back with you in a second. So even with my top layer of bark, I want to make sure there's some good moisture happening for new roots to come from that new growth. So I'm just going to tuck in here, bits of moss to make sure to promote good growth, around that new growth and whenever it decides to put out its own roots. And here I really want to make sure to support the stake, supporting the flower spike. So I'm really pushing down at the base of the stake to make sure I get some good compaction just in this area at least, to hold it up and support the flower spike well. And now I'm putting in some of my slow release fertilizer. I just want to caution, this can be risky in a self-watering situation. Self-watering, keeping the media more damp can make it release faster. So some people recommend don't use it at all, but I have found success in putting some in, and I find this orchid could use a bit more support because in the previous setup, I think the slow release fertilizer degraded way too fast anytime I put it in. So hopefully continuing trying to feed it will work well. And then here's the microrhizal fungi to help reset up the good fungi that should be growing within any media. Repotting disrupts all of that process in there, so sprinkling a bit of this powder is something I really think helps my orchids. And just caution, don't breathe it in. It is fungi and it's not meant to be in our lungs, so don't be be careful using it. And there we go. I'm gonna go water the orchid, fill up the reservoir. This orchid is all repotted. And thanks so much for sticking it out, and I'll be right back. And so we are back, and I got it all watered, and I dampened a paper towel, and I'm going to clean the leaves. And the leaves with the Psychopsis is very different than your traditional Oncidium. They're a lot more leathery and just kind of rough textured. And oh boy, yeah, there's a lot of dust on these leaves. And so yeah, it looks like there's a lot of modeling color loss, so it's definitely faded. But sometimes I guess that happens. That's just, I don't know why. I'm certainly not an expert. It's just been my experience with this orchid. It's kind of funny that little leaf has kept all of its markings, but the bigger ones, I don't know. I really don't know why, but it doesn't bother me. This orchid is still a beautiful orchid that I started growing 4 years ago as a little tiny seedling. I'll show you a picture of it. It's pretty cute. Okay, and we are all set. My tag is updated, and hope you've enjoyed coming along with me to repot this beautiful Psychopsis orchid. I can't recommend it enough for everyone's collections. If you haven't given it a try, please do so. As nervous as I was to do this repot, and I'm really worried that I've traumatized it too much, I I haven't experienced too many problems with growing this orchid. So in 4 years, I've got this beautiful blooming plant, and it's just been so enjoyable. Flower after flower. There is some space in between the flowers. When one falls off, the bud has to develop. But yeah, I don't anticipate that I, I've traumatized this orchid so much, but I wonder if it might be set back a little bit. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and appreciate you sticking it out. And I'll have some more updates, show some more blooms, and thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.